story. So there's this company out of Vancouver, right? What they do is they design pants for women and men too. They're called Lululemon. Have you guys heard of that? Yeah. You guys heard of Lululemon? No?
Lululemon.
Oh.
In this country.
Oh man. I'm an immigrant. I'm sorry.
They gave me a free one I couldn't resist.
Yeah. So Lululemon. Who doesn't know about Lululemon? Okay. So Lululemon has never put out an advert. So why do most of you know about Lululemon? Have you ever seen an ad for Lululemon on television? Clickbait advertising?
They found another way of leading them to the customers.
Yeah. So what was that? How did you know how to pronounce Lululemon? How did you know about Lululemon? They've never put out an ad. They've never been on television. They've never been on pay-per-click campaigns, nothing like that. Maybe in the past year they have, but prior to that they haven't. So if you've known about Lululemon from 2016, 2017, when they were in their prime, why did you hear about them? Any insight?
My daughter somehow heard about them, and that's how I heard about it.
Okay, yeah. So somebody that wore the brand told you about it, right? So what is that? Word of mouth. These guys have been one of the most effective companies at using word of mouth to advertise their product or service. So there's always something that we can learn from them. So what did they do to make themselves so effective? Does anybody know? Has anybody heard of Chip Wilson's story? No? So what he did, right, was he started off, he had a clothing brand at one point before. And then he exited that business and he purchased a sewing shop in West Vancouver. And what he did was, right under this sewing shop, he had just purchased a sewing shop. He didn't really know what business he wanted to get into next, but he knew it would involve some sort of fabric, right? But he just exited from his business, right? It just so happened that this sewing shop was right above a yoga studio. And yoga wasn't big at the time, right? It was very niche, very few people did it, right? It hadn't gained popularity like it has now, right? So what he would do is, just by chance this yoga studio was underneath. And so what he found was a lot of the women, it was majority women that were coming for yoga at the studio. He found that a lot of them were complaining about the clothing that they were wearing, right? Didn't fit well, it stretched too much or too little, right? It really didn't serve the purpose that it was meant for. So they were piecemealing, right? They were buying something, testing it out, didn't work, and they didn't have the right product to address their yoga needs. And so what this guy did was he decided to address this problem, because he could see, right? This is a problem of people that are doing yoga. So what he did was he bought a bunch of fabric, right, different types of fabric, and he started to iterate or design different types of products. And what he did is he would take these pants down to the yoga studio, get the women to wear it, and give them feedback. So as soon as he was developing these products, he was gaining customer feedback to validate whether these pants that he was making were any good or not. And so he kept doing this until he found the right material, the right sizing model, and he launched Lululemon, right? And then, to top this all off, he went through the customer validation phase and stuff, right? Like became very effective at identifying what the problem was that he was solving on the material side. And then what he did was he divided his audience up into target audiences. He called them Ocean and Duke. Has anybody heard of these two target audiences? No? Okay. So Ocean is a female who works in downtown Vancouver. She earns $150,000 a year. She does yoga on the weekends. She she hangs out with her family on the weekends. She does yoga during the weekdays right after work. She has 2 kids her husband's name is Duke, right? And so he created this persona of this person who's now gonna be his ideal buyer, right? So he identified activities that Ocean would do in her spare time while she's not doing yoga. So maybe she's a healthy eater, right? So she eats organic food, right? She's got a high income so she can afford it, right? There's other indicators of people that do yoga, yeah? It's not the whole population of people that do yoga, but it's a subset, but it's the highest income earning subsect of that population. So it's your ideal customer. Who's heard of the 80-20 rule? You guys heard of the 80-20? 80-20?
Freedom principle.
Yeah, you wanna give it a quick summary?
80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. 80% of the revenues come from 20% of your customers.
That's right.
80% of X comes from 20% of Y.
Yeah. So this persona that you're developing for your business is actually gonna cater to that 20%. You really, really need to understand where 20% of your customers who are paying for 80% of your revenue. And target audiencing is gonna help you figure out where you're gonna find these 20%. So, and then Duke was another persona that he created that's going to now, like, identify who that male target audience is for the products that he sells. Any questions about target audiencing? What did you learn from this story?
That I don't need Facebook.
That you don't need Facebook. That's right. Yeah, you don't need Facebook. What else?
Like the stage of your product development, how he solved the problem, and then he targeted a certain specific type of lifestyle or income group.
Right. Yeah. What else?
Maybe we just start.
Just start. Yeah, that's a good one. You just gotta get into it.
He really worked hard at getting into the mind of the people he was trying to sell to. So he really understood their problems,
Yeah,
and so that he could provide a product that solved those
that hit home
problems.
for them, right?
Kind of like Michelin, right? Michelin sells tires, but they're not selling tires, right? They're selling safety.
They're selling safety. That's right. Yeah. What did you guys learn from the story? So, the personas that he created, right? He also used them to hire people to work in the shops. So who better to sell Duke a pair of pants than Duke, right? Who better to sell Ocean a pair of pants than Ocean? So why not create the environment where people become ambassadors for your product and your customer can see themselves in the people that are selling the product or service? Futurepreneur aims at 18 to 39-year-olds that are starting a business. I've started numerous businesses, I'm under that age criteria, right? So it's effective marketing if you can get somebody to represent your product or service that looks, smells, acts like the person that you're targeting. Any questions about this? You guys are